Hello again. At one time, many hospitals had chapels where patients and their relatives could go and sit, either to pray or just to be alone with their thoughts. Served a very useful function. These places were welcoming for everybody, and Muslims, Hindus, and Jews, as well as Christians and atheists, used them all the time. Chapels were to be found in other places as well, and they've always traditionally been open to people of any faith or none. So, in other words, Christians or anybody else. These places are fast disappearing, and they're being replaced by what are described as multi-faith prayer rooms, but are really mosques. Before going any further and being accused of Islamophobia, I might mention that I have prayed in mosques just as much as I have in churches. In fact, I've prayed in some of the great mosques, Sultan Ahmet in Istanbul, the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus, and of course Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. I've got nothing at all against mosques. However, not everybody wants to sit on the floor and pray in a mosque when they're worried about the outcome of their wife's operation. Very often, they would rather be in a chapel. Most people that go to a hospital chapel want to sit on a seat. I'm trying to think how I can put this now. Very few adults sit on the floor or on the ground. Nearly everybody sits in chairs. Most of the multi-faith prayer rooms now don't have any seats. There's no chairs, no pews or anything. The signs for multi-faith prayer rooms, whether in hospitals or elsewhere, have clues as to their true nature. Here's one at the Riverside Stadium, which is the home ground of Middlesbrough Football Club. Note that the figures are kneeling on the floor to pray, resting their bottoms on their heels. This is how Muslims pray. You won't see many Christians sitting on the floor like this to pray. What about removing the shoes before entering the room? Has anybody ever had to remove their shoes to enter a church or chapel? No, because of course this isn't a multi-faith prayer room at all, it's a mosque. We take our shoes off when we enter a mosque. You see, because most multi-faith prayer rooms lack chairs, because they are actually mosques, it makes them unwelcoming for non-Muslims, especially older people. Most people in the Christian tradition tend to sit in chairs or on pews to pray. When they kneel on a hassock and have their backside resting against their seat, and then put their hands like that, rest them on the chair in front. It's simply the idea for most people, most Christians in this country, of sitting on the floor to pray is weird. It's a Muslim thing. Consider now the new multi-faith prayer room which opened a couple of years ago at London's Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children. Here are some images from inside it. You'll notice at once that there are no chairs. That's a common feature now of multi-faith prayer rooms. You can see too the mihrab, which is a little alcove which indicates the direction of Mecca. Then there are the ablution areas for ritual washing before prayer. This is not a multi-faith room at all. It's plainly a mosque. These places are designed to be unwelcoming or even inaccessible to Christians. How many viewers would feel comfortable taking off their shoes, walking into a mosque and then sitting on the floor? Would they feel as relaxed and at ease as they would going to sit on a pew in a traditional hospital chapel? What do I mean by saying that some of these places are inaccessible to Christians? Let me tell you, in the East London district of Goodmayes is a further education college. This is the Redbridge campus of the New City College Group. When I went there for training a year ago, I decided to pop into the prayer room there. The first thing I discovered is that there are actually two prayer rooms, one for men, one for women. The men's one had a sink in it for ritual cleansing, no chairs, just a pile of prayer mats. On a notice board were the times of sunrise and sunset in different parts of the world in Arabic, along with an advertisement for a Muslim charity. As is my way, I had to look into the matter further, so I nosed around a bit and found two Chinese students from Singapore, a boy and a girl. They were both Christians and they liked to pray together each day. They couldn't use the same prayer room at the college and so had to go a mile down the road to a church at lunchtime to pray. Because these prayer rooms are actually mosques and not multi-faith prayer rooms, they are not actually available for Christians. The annual population survey data in 2011 shows that 63.1% of people in England and Wales are Christians. Just 4.8% are Muslim. In other words, there are 13 times as many Christians in the country as there are Muslims. Why then are multi-faith prayer rooms being specifically designed as mosques and made unwelcoming or inaccessible to Christians? Can you imagine a hospital chapel where men cannot enter with women, or where you must take your shoes off and sit on the floor when you go in? Again, this is something which is happening across the entire country. It can't just be happening by chance in all different places. There's a concerted effort to ensure that Christians are denied the space to pray in hospitals, colleges, football grounds and airports. Why? Why is this happening?